You ever wonder how the wealthiest people in the world pay less taxes than the average worker? Well, so do I. And it's not luck and it's not a loophole. I'm about to reveal about the 5 best secrets to saving more money on your taxes. And you should be interested in this because it can save you a ton of money. Let's go. Hey guys, I'm Mark Kuhn. I am a contractor, developer, and real estate investor. And I was super curious how the top 1% do their taxes every year to pay zero. Think about Donald Trump paying $750 in tax, right? How does he do that? And how does he make billions a year and still pay zero on real estate tax? Well, I will reveal the biggest secret on the 5th one, but let's go through the 5 reasons on why and how you can actually save money on your taxes. All right, number 1, the most obvious to me is real estate depreciation. But to me as a contractor, I used to pour concrete I've been doing construction for 15 years, and up till 7 years, I really just did construction items, pouring concrete, rebuilding homes, whatever I needed to do to make money. But I never understood or couldn't believe that you could write off a real estate asset that made money to your pocketbook, but lost money on paper. It's such a hard thing to understand, and I did not understand that out of the gate. But I bought my first office building for $1.1 million. I was able to cost segregate it, meaning accelerate the cost of depreciation, accelerate the depreciation to have a paper loss. So I made about $250,000 in my construction company net on paper, but I was able to write off over $300,000 because of this office building that I bought. And I was just buying it because I heard that you needed to own everything you did. And that was bad information, but I did save a boatload because since I was starting to get more and more into the real estate game as a developer, I was something that they called a real estate professional. And you can actually use that depreciation to apply it to my active income in my construction company, meaning my $250,000 I netted in my construction company and the $300,000 I lost on paper to my new office building, I actually lost $50,000 a year on paper and I got a refund. What the heck? Number 2, the 1031 exchange. How simple of a process, but most people don't understand, and it's actually more complicated than you would think. When you're selling an asset, say you're selling off an asset, long-time asset with your family or something that's you've owned a long time and is paid off or a very low debt on it. Well, you don't want to see all those gains, right? You want to maybe you're upgrading to a bigger asset. And say you don't want to sell and pay all those gains and then go buy that new asset. You would rather 1031 it, meaning you can use all those proceeds. They have to be locked up with the title company. You will never see the money, but they will roll it into that newer, bigger asset that you buy. And this can be a great way to kick the can down the road because all those taxes you would have owed have now just been inserted into this new real estate project. And guess what? You get to apply all that cost segregation, accelerated depreciation again to your taxes on your earned income. So it's a great way, a great tool to help mitigate taxes. And if you're new to the real estate game, it's all about mitigating taxes. That's how you're going to grow your business. That's how you're going to grow as an entrepreneur. And that's how you're going to have the capital to keep growing yourself. So 1031, great tool. And you can actually, I've used this multiple times in my career. It's almost like cheating sometimes because it's like, oh, I don't even have to. You don't get any of the money, which is sometimes sad because you think when you sell an asset, you should get money, but you get to upgrade that and you don't get to pay any tax. You rather get more depreciation because you do that. The 3rd secret is use tax advantaged accounts. And what I mean by that, use things like IRAs, 401ks, HSAs. You can even do this with maybe a high yield savings account. Figure out the ways to make money, save the most amount of taxes possible that you can possibly save. And because the government will allow you to invest in a 401k up to a certain threshold in every year, and you can maximize that amount every single year. You can also do this with your HSA because most health insurance companies now are all high deductible. Health insurance is stupid expensive, so make sure that you're investing in your HSAs. And then you can use things like a backdoor IRA account where you can fund these accounts and actually fund your real estate projects with them. Find all the tax advantage accounts that the government will allow you to fund and fund them in full. Another fun one that I like to talk about is I've done a whole life. And this is where you're actually buying a life insurance account that you'll own. And someday you'll be able to borrow against it. And for some of you that know, or maybe have watched the infinite banking videos out there, you can also do the infinite banking thing where you can borrow money against your whole life account and pay yourself the interest rate. So you're never actually losing money, and you can just keep repeating that process until you get more and more money into your whole life account. So there's so many ways to save taxes. Most people don't think of the most simplest forms. And I would say that whole life, IRAs, your 401ks and your HSAs are all the most simple ways to save the most amount of money every year. And you can do this no matter what you're doing. Make sure you're maximizing all those areas. All right. The fifth secret is using capital gains tax rates. And what I mean by this is you want to use your long-term capital gains. You want to be taxed at that benefit. This is why, because you will be taxed at a much lower rate, right? Like you're going to get taxed at 15% compared to your ordinary income tax, which can be 40 to 55% depending upon the state you lived in. So this is where the wealthy really understand this process, meaning they know. And how to get long-term capital gains is that you need to own something for at least a year. That's what the government tells you. So if you're doing things like flipping homes, or you're doing things like maybe you're just have a vacation rental or something, and things that you're doing, maybe you're selling it after 6 months, or anything you're doing within a year to make your ordinary income, right? That's considered income. But the people who really get the wealthiest are the people that extend past a year, maybe go to about 5 years, maximize your return on investment, right? With your capital. And you need to understand this, because if you're always just flipping homes and you're not generating any wealth, using the Burr method, right, would be generating wealth because you're going to hold on to it. Just holding on to it for 1 year can create an entire new channel for you to have a new long-term capital rate, tax effective, meaning it's instead of ordinary income tax, it's 15%. And you need to use this tool to your full advantage, because again, life is all about avoiding taxes. You're never going to avoid tax and death in life, but I think that you can pay less tax. I think you will have more wealth to yourself. And almost every investor understands this. So you need to get out of the flipping mentality, out of the wholesaling mentality, and really get into a world where you can actually hold the asset. If I were just to build luxury storage units and sell off each one as a condo, guess what? I'm going to pay ordinary income tax on that development, and I'm likely not to make very much money. Now, if I'm able to hold that thing for 5 years, say, maximize my ROI, I can also exit that and say, if I built it for $3 million and sold it for $6 million, that $3 million only taxed at 15% instead of my ordinary income tax. Where if I were to sell all the facilities right out of the gate and individual condos and sell them in a year, well, guess what? Now I have to pay ordinary income tax. So if I would have netted $1 million, I'm going to pay, let's just say 50% in total tax. I only netted $500,000. So much different, right? In which asset, but you have to understand this and I think what I want you to think about in this, as we conclude, is that you need to think in a long-term aspect. Wealth is not built in individual quick flipping. That's how income is built, right? And I want you to generate a lot of income, but what I want you to do is take that income, instead of just keep throwing it into the next flip and think you're making money by paying a lot of tax. You're actually throwing it into long-term assets that are going to create wealth for yourself. And remember that real estate creates long-term wealth. It's get rich for sure with fixed debt, and you're going to get rich in over 10 years, right? It takes a decade to actually feel the full effects of investing in real estate. If you think that this is going to be something where you quit your job tomorrow, you're likely very wrong, and it's likely not to happen unless you struck gold. But if you invest for a meaningful amount of time, meaning 10 years, and you can plan for that, and you can keep building up your portfolio to say, hey, it doesn't cash flow a lot right now, but I'm not here for now. I'm here for 10 years from now. you're likely to be you're living a rich plan. You're going to create wealth for yourself. You're going to pay less taxes, and you're going to become the 1%. So guys, I hope you like this. If you can, just like it, subscribe, share it with somebody, because if it's sharing, you're caring about someone else's taxes. Share it with a friend, share it with a business partner. I don't care, but I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe. I'm creating a ton more content like this. Appreciate it. See you in the next one.